OpenAI launched their brand new AI video model Sora 2, but also a social network that allows you to clone yourself and your friends. Plus, OpenAI's competitor Anthropic launched a coding model that looks extremely powerful. Amazon has some hardware announcements, and we're covering more tech news on New Tech Nightly, recorded taped to live from the Big Pink Building in beautiful downtown Portland, Oregon. Let's get into the news. OpenAI has launched Sora 2, their brand new AI video model, and a brand new Sora app and social network that lets users create and share AI-generated short videos. But importantly, they have a cameo feature where you can feature yourself or even your friends in those generated videos. Of course, Meta just launched Vibes, which is a similar AI slop feed video app that got a lot of criticism, but this new Sora app and social network seems to be being received a lot better, especially because the quality of the AI video model, and also because you can feature yourself and your friends in the videos, which makes it more personal. Of course, there's a lot of people who don't like this, and that's the case with most AI products, but it seems like infinite AI-generated video feeds in general rub people in the wrong way. As I've said before, I think that these platforms could be interesting creative tools with this kind of infinite AI canvas where you can generate anything that you can imagine. But of course, there's a lot of ethical concerns around deepfakes, around copyrighted material, and it seems like OpenAI has definitely approached several of those concerns head on, especially with the new cameo feature, where yes, you are able to essentially deepfake your friends, but you're only able to do it with their explicit permission. And OpenAI says that there's a lot of guardrails in place so that you're not able to generate anything that would make your friends look bad. For example, you can imagine the type of things that they don't allow. And then even if you open it up to everyone or just your mutual friends, or someone generates a video with you in it, you have control over that video in terms of the ability to delete it if you don't like it. OpenAI has also integrated some ethically driven guardrails in terms of checking in on users as they're using the app. You know, they're trying to detect if someone's gone into a AI slop spiral, and then have prompts that maybe would suggest taking a break from the app or other kind of, helpful prompts to foster well-being. And they also say that they're going to be tracking this over time, and that they're even willing to completely shut down this service if they see that it's having a negative impact on humanity. But look, we're going to have to see if any of these mitigations actually work, or, what really happens with this platform as it's now released into the world. Although right now it's currently invite only. So they're slowly rolling this out, and you have to kind of either wait for a push notification to get access or know someone with an invite code. OpenAI says that this is, number one, to make sure that their computing power is able to handle all the new users and activity. And number two, that you're joining with your friends. They'll give you 4 invite codes when you join, and they encourage you to invite your friends. And the feed apparently is tuned to prioritize videos from your friends, so not just like random videos. Although I did get a code, and as I've been testing it, I definitely saw a lot of videos from people who I don't know. But there is a cool feature that allows you to actually customize your feed. You can actually specify a certain mood that you'd like to have in your feed. For example, I just put in trains, and then it was a lot of train related videos in the feed. So this Sora app is launching first on Apple's iOS platform. Now, what's powering this app is the new Sora 2 video model. And they also have a Sora 2 Pro model coming for Pro plans. So you don't have to just be a part of this social app to use this video model. So for creative professionals who want to leverage AI video tools, there is going to be higher fidelity versions of this model available that's rolling out soon, and a web interface that will allow a lot more customization for how you can create these videos. It's really unclear if people even want to spend their time in AI-generated feed apps. We saw how the new Meta Vibes app left people with a really bad taste in their mouth and did not have a positive reaction from the public. But so far, the Sora app and social network that they're trying to build around cameos and ability to share videos of yourself and friends, unlimited creative possibilities that's really only limited by our imagination, and of course the guardrails that they put in place. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. And while the response has been pretty positive, especially compared to Meta's release, I think there's a lot of people who are also just against any kind of AI products, and for a lot of good reasons. There's a lot of ethical concerns about copyright, also about losing touch with like our humanity. Maybe inside a certain tech bubble, there's people who are excited about this, but I think most people, when they hear, oh, there's an infinite AI-generated video feed, they're like, wait, but what? Like, why would I want to watch that? Now, I think as more people actually get access to the Sora app, that mainstream view on this might start shifting because these models are actually very high quality and they allow you to play with this infinite canvas where you can just generate anything you can imagine. Now, with the Sora app, you can easily put yourself into those worlds that you generate and even put your friends into those worlds if they give you permission. And that might make it feel more personal and a little bit more human, because obviously there's still humans that are generating the videos on the platform. It's not automatically generated videos. There's still, you still have to prompt, you still have to come up with the ideas for what you want the video to be. So humans are still involved. But, I think a lot of people see this and they're just freaked out by it or just kind of disgusted by it. So we'll have to see if this app actually catches on in the mainstream or if it just kind of stays within the tech bubble. But I will say the Sora 2 model, even separate from this social media app that they've created, it looks very powerful. It's finally caught up to the quality of Veo 3, which is Google's video model that can do sound and video at the same time, just like Sora 2 now can do. And that has a lot of different creative use cases. And again, there's a lot of ethical concerns with that as well, but there's going to be an API rolling out for the Sora 2 model, so developers will be able to integrate this into different experiences. So it's definitely a big step forward for AI video technology. Anthropic has unveiled Claude Sonnet 4.5. And of course, Anthropic is a frontier AI lab that's competing with OpenAI, and they say that this new Sonnet 4.5 model is their best model yet. And this model is focused on excelling at coding and agentic tool use. And agentic meaning it can autonomously reason, make decisions on its own, and then use tools, and then decide which tools to use, and then use those tools before coming back to a human and checking in, delivering the results for the human to review before going off again on its next task. So Claude Sonnet 4.5 is competing directly with OpenAI's GPT-5 Codex model that it released a few weeks ago. So now both models are pretty close in terms of capabilities, but it looks like Sonnet 4.5 has pulled ahead, especially in coding and long-running agentic tasks. Anthropic said that 4.5 could sustain coding for up to 30 hours, and that's without human intervention. Now, in practice, it's not going to go off and code for 30 hours. I think that was just in their internal tests, but this model is capable of going off and doing a lot of work by itself for long periods of time. Anthropic also rolled out a bunch of enhancements to its Claude Code command line interface tool, which allows developers to leverage this new model to build software projects. One of the features they introduced to Claude Code was the ability to have rollbacks. So you can go back to different checkpoints in the code. If Claude makes a mistake, you can just easily go back. Of course, you could do that before by working with GitHub and, making commits, but it just makes it easier to kind of go back and undo any mistakes that it might make. But overall, this new model is really good at not making mistakes. I mean, these coding models already been really good, and this just takes the power of an AI coding model and makes it even better. There's been so many new advancements in this space that it's hard to even wrap your head around how good these models are getting. So I think developers really have to dive in and test Claude Sonnet 4.5 and see how it stacks up against GPT-5 Codex. But initially from the announcement, it looks like this is an extremely powerful model. It should be noted too that these tools are not meant to replace software developers, just kind of give them superpowers. And of course, there's a lot of concerns about the role that software engineers will play at large companies, and there absolutely might be negative impacts, and we'll definitely keep tracking that on this show. I don't want to come across as saying that these are, only a good thing or only a bad thing. The impacts of these type of technologies is very complicated, but initially we've seen a lot of developers embracing these tools and just getting a lot more done within a shorter amount of time. And as we've reported on, it really depends on how you use these tools that determine if they're even effective at all. Like, you can use some of these coding models and just make a whole bunch of work slop, but if you know how to use them and how to prompt them and give the right context to the models, there has been evidence that shows it can accelerate developer workflows. OpenAI has a new shopping feature where ChatGPT will not only recommend products for you, but also allow you to buy them on the spot. They're calling it instant checkout, enabled by a new open standard called the Agentic Commerce Protocol that it co-developed with Stripe. So the next time you ask ChatGPT what the best running shoes are under $100, ChatGPT can display a list of products, and these would be organic results results, not ads. And if one of the items supports instant checkout, the user will see a buy button underneath. Then ChatGPT will confirm the shipping and payment information, and you can place the order all within the ChatGPT interface. Now, it's an important distinction that these are not going to be advertisements in ChatGPT quite yet. There is rumors that ChatGPT will have ads integrated into it at some point pretty soon. But the way that they're going to implement ads is not actually putting the ads in the chat stream itself, because then users would lose trust. So OpenAI wants to keep the ads separate and give you genuine results. But if you do decide to buy one of those genuine results, OpenAI can then monetize that. And instant checkout is a way for them to do that, while also making it much easier to buy something. It's interesting that OpenAI is actually open sourcing the agentic commerce protocol itself. So that means other e-commerce players could adopt it, so that any AI agent, not even ones that OpenAI runs, could interface with any retailer that supports it in a standardized and secure way. And again, retailers that support instant checkout will not boost their ranking in the ChatGPT recommendations, and results will remain based on relevance, not pay to play. And the system is designed to only share relevant info with merchants while keeping user data secure. But of course, they have to do it that way because OpenAI is under a lot of pressure around privacy and data usage. So when they're rolling out new features like this, which they will be able to monetize if you click through, they're just being very careful and making sure that they're transparent on how that process works every step of the way. Amazon just held its annual devices event and unleashed a wave of new gadgets and upgrades across its whole product lineup. There was a lot announced, but I'll give you some of the highlights. There's a whole bunch of new smart speakers and displays. They're totally redesigned. Some of them have better bass. Some of them have smaller footprints than previous models. So overall, they're making the smart speakers sound better and look better. And they're doing the same thing with their smart displays. They call their smart speakers the Echo. Both of these fall under their Echo line. So they have a new Echo Dot Max, a new Echo Studio, and then for the displays, a new Echo Show 8 and an Echo Show 11. And Amazon says all of these devices are their best way to experience Alexa Plus, which is their upgraded Alexa that's powered by AI. Now, the e-readers have not been forgotten. Their Kindle line is still alive and well. The new Kindle Scribe Color Soft has an 11-inch e-ink screen capable of displaying colors, so you can look at full-color magazines, and you can also write on the display and make handwritten notes. They promise weeks of battery life with this new Kindle, but it's not cheap. It's priced over $600 in the US. Amazon made some smaller upgrades to the rest of the Kindle family as well. They also introduced new security cameras and a refreshed Fire TV lineup. And throughout all of this, they kept mentioning how Alexa Plus is integrated, so they're really trying to push their new AI-enabled assistant across all their products. But overall this year, it seems like they really focused on the design of their products, and they look pretty good. Phone startup Nothing has announced Playground. This is an app development platform that allows everyday users to create their own custom mini apps, of course enabled by AI on the back end. This is all part of Nothing's push towards what they're calling an AI-native operating system. Now, Playground isn't a full operating system yet, but it's an AI-based app builder and app store that will work on Nothing's Android phones. So basically, you could use this with just a simple text prompt to create a widget that shows a daily inspirational quote. And at launch, Playground is actually limited to creating widgets, small apps that you could show on your home screen if you have a Nothing Android phone. But Nothing sees this as a step towards more personalized software. There's been a lot of talk over the past few years about this idea of generative UI, where in the near future, software won't be necessarily pre-built, but generated on the fly for whatever use case that you're trying to do. Now, it remains to be seen if users actually want that or if it's really going to work. Like right now, you still have to think about the prompt and actually prompt the system to create one of these apps. But we'll see as this technology gets easier to use and more capable, there might be a future where the software you use is generated on the fly. That's it for today. By the way, if you live in Portland, Oregon, and you're interested in being on this show, we're looking for multiple hosts to have more of a conversational feel. So you can reach out at hello@resonant.works if you're interested, and I'll see you tomorrow.